Hi, so does your town have a light rail train station? Yes or no?
No.
No.
Do you think your town would benefit from a light rail station?
My town personally, no. I live in a rural area with farmland and horses all over the place. So personally, I don't think my area would.
Yeah, I also don't think my town would benefit from a light rail station.
Why is that?
So I live in a very small town, and our closest train station is like a 10-minute drive. So having another one that close makes no sense.
Okay. So if you lived in a city with around 100,000 residents, do you think it would be a necessity to have a light rail system to get to other locations outside of the city?
City having one near, like my area would be better. Not definitely not in, but like in an area near like Hamilton or that kind of area, which I think there already is, would be a good area for a train station just because it's a close distance, not too far, but it's not going to be interfering with the rural land around my area.
Also, in a big city, I think having a light rail station is important for residents just to get around the city. Like a big city like New York, the subway system is pretty beneficial as a cheap way of transportation.
Great. So if your towns were to begin construction on a light rail stop, what qualities are you looking for it to have, such as a Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, like a pizza shop? What are you guys looking for?
I'm a big pizza guy myself, but Dunkins are essential for like the morning commuters.
Yeah, I think like a Starbucks or just a coffee shop would be
Yeah.
beneficial. People commuting to the city or whatever, and like a clean, nice, well secured train station should also. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you think $10 million is enough money to build a new station in a city, or do you think the state will need to contribute funds as well to the project?
Just laying down track would be, and wiring it all together and just having the building set up would be already over 15 million. I don't think 10 million would be enough. I think state funds would just be needed.
Yeah, like even just establishing a building, getting the permits, it's going to be well over $10 million alone.
So, how much do you think the state should contribute to the light rail station, if any, or do you think city or taxpayers should be solely responsible for the funding?
I think it should be a combination of both, as it's a public service. So the people that taxpayers are using, and taxpayers should have some sort of contribution to it. But because it's a state plan, I feel like it should be pushed a little bit by the state as well.
Mm-hmm. I also agree with that. Should be majority state funds and then taxes.
So, the last question I have for you guys is, if you lived in a city with about 100,000 residents, what would you think about Amazon establishing their headquarters there? What benefits or drawbacks would you see there?
I could only imagine good positive growth for the income within the city and just bettering the area, as Amazon's a very wealthy company. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It will definitely increase revenue into the city, create jobs. So I think it would be beneficial.
Maybe it'll help with the light rail station.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you guys very much.
Does your town have a light rail station?
No, it does not.
Do you think that it would be a worthy investment for your town?
Probably not. My town's really small, has like 2,000 people. We don't need a light rail system.
If you lived in a city with around 100,000 residents, do you think it would be a necessity to have a light rail system?
I'm not sure if it would be a necessity, but at that point, it would be incredibly beneficial, and I think it would definitely be a worthy investment.
If your town were to begin construction on a light rail stop, what qualities are you looking for it to have?
I'd probably want it to be definitely clean, on time. The trains better be on time, but I guess it's not the station itself. Probably I would want it to avoid troubled neighborhoods, and a lot of residents, I'm assuming, wouldn't want it right near their complex, so probably in a less densely populated area of the town as well.
Do you think $10 million is enough money to build a new station in a city, or do you think the state will need to contribute funds?
I'm no expert on railway stations, so it sounds like that would be enough. I know states typically do contribute money to railway stations regardless, so I'm sure the state would subsidize part of it. On a wild guess, I would think 10 million would probably be enough.
How much do you think the state should contribute to a light rail station, if any?
Depends on the city's economic growth and if it's whether it's a metropolitan hub, if it's a center of a lot of people and businesses, and if putting a railway system in place would increase revenues from the state and therefore increase state revenues, then the state should contribute to it. Otherwise not. If they do contribute, I would say maybe up to 20-30%, unless it's really a major city.
If you lived in a city of about 100,000 residents, what would you think about Amazon establishing their headquarters there?
I mean, Amazon's one of the largest, most profitable corporations in the world. If they establish their headquarters in your city, I mean, that would change the whole city. I'm assuming I'd be pretty pumped because the tax revenues in the city would probably like quintuple. I'm sure traffic would increase. It would pretty much change the whole complexion of the city. It would take over this whole city essentially. I guess I'd be happy because it would bring a lot of attention and money to the city.
Do you believe there would be any drawbacks?
Yeah, a lot of traffic, a lot more attention, positive and negative. More competition for jobs because people would move there for it, etc. There'd be plenty of drawbacks. The local culture would be wiped away to some degree too. Amazon would pretty much take over the city. So a lot of the qualities, the economic aspects of the city that were there beforehand would pretty much disappear. So it would be definitely drawbacks. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Alex Sanchez, and I'm a citizen of Trenton, New Jersey, and I'm a performer from our beautiful capital city.
Thank you. I'm going to begin off by asking you a few questions about
Okay.
transportation. First question. Are you aware of your town having a light rail station?
Well, we actually do have a light rail station, and we also have a Trenton Transit Center here in the city. So we do have a few forms of public transportation, as well as a bus and metro system. So that is pretty convenient for the residents of our city.
Okay. Do you think that the light rail station is a necessity for Trenton?
Well, I do think that it is a necessity. We have a lot of people who are commuting, whether it be for work daily, whether it be to take care of family. So I think that there are a lot of people who rely on public transportation in our city.
Okay. If Trenton would begin to construct a new light rail stop, what qualities would you look forward to it having?
Well, the most important quality, I believe, for a new light rail station would be to have a station that was environmentally friendly and to have a station that was environmentally responsible as well. If we're going to bring a new industry into the city, it should be a modern industry, and it should be an industry that's efficient and doesn't damage our city.
Okay. Do you think $10 million is enough money to build a new station in the city? And also, do you think that the state should contribute to any of the funds?
Well, I do think that $10 million is a very low budget. If you're talking about starting an entire transportation system within the city, I think that the goal has to be much higher than that. We would want to provide something that would be quality and not a rush-through project that doesn't work.
Okay. And final question. What benefits or drawbacks do you think there would be if Amazon would move its location here in New Jersey?
Well, Amazon has a fulfillment center pretty close to the city, and while I question some of their less than ethical business choices, I do support that they are moving closer to a livable wage, which is $15 an hour. So if we have more industry, have more jobs for people in our city, then we can hopefully have more growth in our city as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Did your town have a light rail station?
No, my town doesn't.
Do you think your town would benefit from one?
My town would not benefit from one. There's a Patco station about 5 minutes away, so it wouldn't really be an effective use of resources to put one in.
If you lived in a city with around, let's say, 100,000 residents or more, do you think it would be a necessity to have a light rail system to get to other locations outside the city?
I think so. Depending on the layout of the city, some people may require public transportation to get to and from their destination. So in that case, it might be necessary.
If your town were to begin construction on a light rail stop, what qualities would you look for it to have?
Definitely cheap, relatively affordable for passengers, so that it's not a huge burden on their wallet to get where they need to go. Clean, definitely someplace people would want to go to, as opposed to taking some other form of public transportation.
What about security?
Security, definitely secure. I don't think people would want to take transportation that they thought was unsafe.
Are you looking, what about like amenities such as like coffee shops, restaurants, kiosks that you don't have to talk to someone, etc.?
I think any additions like that would be an appeal for people coming in, especially with the addition of places to get food and everything. It's good for businesses looking to start up there.
Do you think $10 million is enough money to build a new station in a city, or do you think the state will need to contribute funds?
I don't think that would be enough.
Yeah, because the Elizabeth Station, New Jersey is costing around $55 million to redesign. And a mile of track itself costs $35 million, so per mile.
Yeah, I don't think that would do it.
No. How much do you think the state should contribute to the light rail station, if any, though? Because right now it's just taxpayers in the city.
I mean, ideally, if there's enough public support to put one in, maybe they could get contributions from citizens willing to invest in putting a light rail station in, and just using state funds as a last resort.
If you lived in a city of around 100,000 residents, what would you think about Amazon establishing their headquarters there?
Well, it would definitely mess with the dynamic of people's day-to-day lives. It would disrupt the flow of transportation. It would bring a lot more people into the city. It may make it for surrounding businesses, make it more difficult for surrounding businesses.
Are there any other like benefits or drawbacks you think it would have?
Traffic would increase a lot, so it would make it a lot harder for people to get where they're trying to go. It may be a huge cost to the town, specifically if there's a lot of construction involved.
Do you think there are any benefits?
I guess probably if
Like a
if
higher
you
influx of people might bring more.
well, yeah,
money to
it
the
would definitely
town.
bring more customers for businesses, and maybe get more people moving into the city,
Rather than
and
the suburbs.
contributing resources. It may ultimately be good for the company and better for investors and consumers of that company.
All right. Well, thank you.